What's going on, guys? Crooked here from Off the Brink TV, bringing you another video. This time of another update on my Demon Hunter. And in this video, I actually want to talk about a few things. One of them being the difference between number bloating and actually being efficient. The difference between true glass cannon, and a few things like that. But first, I want to start on my gear. So since the last video, I've gotten quite a few new pieces. I actually got some new pieces I was using for a while, then switched those with what most people would think wouldn't be an upgrade, but actually are an upgrade. But also in the video, I'll show you a couple of pieces that you could probably use as a stepping stone or play around with your own different combinations of gear and builds. I would definitely say I'm a bit glass cannon. However, the way I structured everything, I'm not as low in toughness as it says I am low on toughness, and my damage says 1.07, obviously sheep, but my elemental damage is much higher. And I'll go over that with you in a minute. Just like the last video, I showed you all the elemental gear and how important that is, and it's definitely very important. But now, especially with the new buffs to the Marauder pieces and the Marauder set bonuses, you really can get a lot more out of the Marauder set bonuses, and you really can do a lot more damage. And there are a couple of pieces that are worth swapping out for to ensure that you can get that 4-set Marauders bonus, and I'm gonna talk to you about that in just a second. As you can see, I have the Marauders gloves. Now, before we get into my specific setup, I want to talk about number bloating. I see way too many Demon Hunters coming into games completely glass cannon with the usual cookie cutter Mage Fist gloves, the Visage helm, if that's how you pronounce it. A lot of stuff that just gives them fire damage, and they're not really working with the Marauder set bonuses. They may be using a Pride's Fall helmet as well. They're not taking advantage of the Marauder sets, and they're dying like crazy. They have a Calamity or a Hell Trap weapon and a Natalia's weapon, and they have good gear, and that's all well and good. And those items are great. You know, I can't wait till I get a Calamity and a Nat so I could test them out. However, there are a couple of other gear situations you could put yourself in that benefit you greater than using those cookie cutter weapons and armor that you see on Diablo Progress. Now, what most people don't understand is people on Diablo Progress are using those items to number bloat. And what number bloat means is they're competing for world first. So they put on every item that's going to give them more elemental damage. Sometimes you'll see a number 1 or 2 Demon Hunter using a Nat's Ring instead of a Stone of Jordan with the Royal Ring of Grandeur to get that elemental DPS up, because it's going to raise that base DPS as opposed to being efficient inside of a rift or anywhere else. Obviously, a Stone of Jordan is going to be your best bet because it gives you such an increased damage to elites. So that's way more overpowered than having a Nat's Ring. And people are putting on Nat's Rings thinking that's the way to go, but it's really not. People are just doing that to number bloat and to compete for world first. I can almost guarantee you that they're not farming with that set. If you look at any of these top Demon Hunters videos, they'll show you a farming set, and it most likely does not include what they're using on Diablo Progress. So with that said, there's a couple of good pieces that you, obviously, if you get a pair of Mage Fists, you didn't get much of Marauders yet, you can definitely rock that. You could definitely rock the Mage Fist for a while till you get some Marauders, etc. However, what I was rocking before you see the Marauder 4 set here with the gloves and the shoulders and the pants, because that's all I have yet. Obviously, I would like to have the boots, pants, and shoulders as opposed to using the gloves and put back the Mage Fist. I was using, which you will see also a lot on Diablo Progress, which is the All-Guild's Power. And what that does is it actually reduces your damage from range attacks and from melee attacks by 7%, and then reduces your damage from elites by 15% while increasing your damage against elites by 15%. Now that's a great set right here that doesn't reflect on your toughness. That's going to reduce your not only your damage taken, but increase your damage output towards elites. And that's great if you can make those. Definitely make those. However, they do not even shine they can't shine Marauder's boots when it comes to the set bonus for these Marauders in this 4 set. And the reason is because of the companion, how much damage these companions do, and the obvious benefits you're getting from the companions. And don't forget, you know, you're getting 20% reduced damage from your boar. So your boar is giving you 20% reduced damage. So even though these Orgiles will give you 15% and regular mobs 7%, that's going to give you more is the boar. Plus you get all the benefits from the other companions and the damage that the output. And you'll see some footage at the end of the video where I absolutely melt. There's a huge difference without them when I'm just rocking my Mage Fists and the Orgiles. There's a huge difference in damage. It's very, very noticeable how I just tear into the mobs and melt them down. But taking it a step further, you see a lot of people obviously with the Calamity and the Hell Trap, and I can't wait to try those, like I said. But the Dinetta's Revenge and the Dinetta's Spite is a great combination. I can't, you know, I'm trying to get a little bit of a better drop on the Dinetta's Spite, but this is a really good combination if they're used properly. Now, a lot of people have these and they don't use them because they see like a little bit of a low damage roll on the weapons. They don't want, you know, want to mess with them too much. But they're really efficient. And how they're efficient is by not even use. Obviously, you have, you know, they do a lot of damage if you're dual wielding. You can throw in your 260% critical hit damage in there. It's great to rock that as a dual wield. But as opposed to using the Awareness or using Perfectionist as your fourth passive for some defense, go with Tactical Advantage. Because Tactical Advantage, whenever you use Volt, Smokescreen, or Backflip with the Evasifier, you gain 60% movement speed for 2 seconds. So that's great for getting out of the way of mobs and really being able to move around. Even in bounties, it's great. But what's awesome about it is you have these this combination with the weapons where your Volt actually only costs 8 hatred instead of discipline. So you could basically do this all day. You could do this all day. You know, obviously when you're in a rift, you're going to be picking up health clothes, it's going to regenerate, and you're going to be stopping to attack. So you're going to be doing something like this, then going again. Look, the hatred regen is longer than it takes for me to slow down from the movement speed buff on the passive. So this is great for just the defensive purposes. Now let's take it a step further. You put Trail of Cinders because you have all of your plus fire damage on your gear. You use your Trail of Cinders rune, and now Dinetta's Revenge, no, Dinetta's Spite, no, Dinetta's Revenge, the Vault gains the effect of the Rattling Roll rune. So that means when you're vaulting through mobs, they're getting stunned and knocked back, and you're dropping your Trail of Cinders on them. And now accompanied by the Marauders 4-set companions raping and melting mobs as you're doing this, you don't even have to attack. You'll see in the video in the end, I take on a champion pack. I just go like this through them. That's it. And let the companions do their thing. And you're immune while you're vaulting. So if you're spam vaulting like that and putting Trail of Cinders down that's ticking for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 million, that's it. This is all you gotta do. Pick up a health globe, launch some cluster arrows, get back, just do this. Knock them back. It's awesome build. It's awesome to mess around with. And obviously, Calamity is the best slot weapon. You're getting that 20% damage, increased damage. Well, it's decreasing it's increasing the amount of damage that the mobs take, which is much different than you getting a 20% buff. So that means it actually stacks with your wolf. You know, keep that in mind. Obviously, it's great. But if you're in a group with another demon hunter, like a demon hunter buddy of mine has the Calamity, so you're getting the benefit of his bow, and you know you're using this build, which is super fun. I cannot wait to get a Hell Trap, because now that they buffed the sentries, the 6-set sentries, so they're doing double the hatred spenders and double the ability, double the output. When you have your Hell Trap, it drops the Cow Traps, Spike Traps, and the sentries 7% every hit. So you're ending groups of mobs with all sentries and all kinds of stuff on the ground, and those sentries are going to be dumping out twice the amount of hatred spenders. That's going to be ridiculous, and I can't wait to get a hell trap from... You get the hell trap, by the way, from Act 5 or Act 4, but my advice would be just keep doing Act 5 over and over again, because it's a smaller pool of where to get your legendaries from. Now, that's what I'm rocking now. I'm obviously not going to go into every single piece of gear. I swapped out these two, put back my Reaper's Wraps because I love them so much when they're accompanied by Blood Vengeance. Blood Vengeance, if you don't know, 30 Hatred and 3 Discipline when you're healed by a health globe, accompanied by the Reaper's Wraps. Basically, a small health globe will regenerate basically all of your hatred. So it's great. And all I really did was swap out the Mage Fist 17% fire damage trifecta I was lucky enough to get the trifecta on the Marauder, so I'm only losing the fire damage on the gloves, which in comparison to what the damage that the companions do, it's just night and day. It's amazing. You guys really should try it out. You know, don't go so cookie cutter. Play around with some things. I'm telling you, man, it's so much more fun to do your own thing with your gear, switch things around, you know, play with what you got. And I said that in my last video too. If you don't have all this cookie cutter stuff, it's okay. Like, take me for an example. I was looking for a Calamity and a Hell Trap for the longest time, and a Natalia's Spite, so I could use it with the Natalia's gloves, boots. My buddy dropped a Natalia's bow, and it was almost a perfect roll, 2800. I wanted it so bad. And then I went into my stash and grabbed out the Donettas and said, you know what, let me play around with these, even though it dropped my toughness a lot from going from my quiver, the Archfiend arrows. I loved it. I started messing around with it and noticed how I stun, and so I started to use what I had, and now I'm having a lot more fun because you set your mind so much on what you want that you don't really realize or appreciate what you actually have in your stash. So, you know, that's my greatest advice. Try to work with what you got. The only thing I've really added here was the Marauder shoulders, gloves, and the pants. I was using these two and the Ashira's pants and boots to get that 2 and 3 set for the toughness, but now the fact that I could do this and run so quickly, go like this, boom, boom, and then companions doing their damage, I don't even need all that toughness. So that's an update on my Demon Hunter right now. I'm using Color of the Week because you have some companions, the Spider companion slows, and then plus obviously you're slowing with your entangling shot, so it's great to use the Color of the Week. However, you could swap that out for Ambush, which is a lot of fun too, a lot of burst. Or if you don't even like Tactical Advantage, you could put Ambush here. You could use a defensive if you don't have the exact build I have or exact gear I have, you know. Those are really the ones you should try to play around with the most. They buffed Awareness. Awareness is great now. As you can see, it raises my toughness over 1,000,000. So you can, you know, mess with that. Perfectionist is good too. It's always been good before the buff to Awareness. But if you notice, actually, Awareness gives them a little more toughness, about 100k more. So I would recommend Awareness, especially if you're not, you know, like a pussy like me and put resist all in your chest and pants, and you have your dexterity in there, you'll get even more toughness out of the Awareness. So that's about it. You know, like I said, I'm gonna put some videos at the end of this so you could see some gameplay, so you can see how much damage I'm doing to companion. I'll throw in before that maybe like a quick pack or two of me using the gear right before I switched to the Marauders, right before I got the pants and went for the 4 set. See what you get. Tell me what you guys think. You have any feedback? You know, have you tried something different that's out of the norm, out of the cookie cutter that you want to share? You know, definitely put them in the comment section below. And as always, please, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, you know, comment, whatever. It really helps me out. I'm really trying to build my channel, find a niche for myself. And that's about it. Enjoy the gameplay footage, guys.
Another Joe Josh is